I know that Fred also works very closely with the Honourable David Clark as well, and I know Marie's over there. But I know that Fred. That's why I'm acknowledging it now. Is every now and again I get to sit up in the president's seat and chair the whole house, as does Fred as the assistant president. But I get the opportunity to, and there's always a bit of nervousness when the Honourable David Clark gets up because he's passionate. And I tell you, we couldn't have a better alliance than people like Marie and David in the upper house, of course, standing up for what and partnering with us on the very what's important to us as a party and as a state. So we acknowledge you too, David. Now, Fred's always gracious, and I've got to make a couple of remarks. So if you're wondering what I'm going to do for the next couple of minutes, just make a couple of remarks myself as well. Fred's very gracious. Fred carries the load. Okay, so Fred's a legend, and he carries a load. Well, I think what's important in team, in a tennis match, that you know each other's game and you play it. And I'm very thankful that Fred allows me to play my game, and I am very, very comfortable with Fred's game. He's a right-hander, I'm a left-hander, or I can be right-handed, he can be left-handed. We just complement each other. But I'm so thankful because he's carrying a load that allows me to do this other stuff. And this other stuff's important to us as a party because CDP can govern.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Okay, we can. Yeah, we can govern. And we do govern. And we do govern regularly as part of a team. With the Liberal National Party, we govern with them, and the Shooters and Fishers Party. So I want to tell you a couple of victories that we've had and how we're helping govern New South Wales. One was the small business legislation where we made it compulsory for both parties to turn up to compulsory mediation to work out the issues. Quite often, one of the larger businesses or a business that's more stronger than you are able to not turn up to the business mediation situation. So in the small business bill, we moved an amendment saying it's compulsory. You have to turn up. If you don't turn up, there's a fine, and it could go against your name for future deliberations. We did that as a party. We made it easier and fairer on small businesses to actually have to take that opportunity and measure. The other thing that we had this week, Fred's right. There's some things I will not let go of. And this week we had the Victims Compensation Scheme. And it was a $400 million scheme that in the red, virtually breaking down. 24,000 victims over 3 years trying to get help and understanding. This week we did pass a law to basically bring that up to scratch to give 24,000 people an opportunity to receive $5,000 and further counselling and access to tools that they need to get healing. Now, it's obviously, we can't pay them enough to bring total healing every time. But this week we helped some people stand up. And that's what we do. And what we did in that is one of the part that we really, really fought for was there was the child sexual assault clause. It basically said at the age of 18 you get 10 extra years and that's it to make the report and claim any help that you may need into the future. We said no. We said we want this open-ended forever and a day for any person who is abused as a child to come back and get some help if they need it. You did that. We did that. CDP delivered that. We have a role in the Health Complaints Commission, and we're able to be able to come to the floor of the council and the other house is health legislation that basically stops a doctor or a healthcare professional that basically is doing the wrong thing. Now the Healthcare Complaints Commissioner can put in their own complaint against that person, and that person can no longer practice while under investigation. And we've seen many situations. I don't want to mention them all or any of them really. They're just terrible cases where healthcare professionals have thought they're above the law and done the wrong thing by people in their professional relationships, and they've continued the practice. That will be no more. We supported that and compliment the government on that legislation amendment. We've also been involved in the corrective services downsizing and closures in New South Wales, and today we finished that up. And I think it's a great outcome to look across what's happening in corrective services. We'll be able to tie that up, I think, on Friday. We'll be delivering that report to the government. And so we've been pretty busy, particularly up around Grafton, and trying to manage One thing's been very, very important about this is that corrective services goes up and down. And we say that the complement of the government is when you've got increased police, you get increased fines, you get increased prisoners, unfortunately. And so your numbers in prisons go up, so you need to open more. But if you keep those things down, and you want to give different opportunities to managing how people get rehabilitated when they're doing the wrong thing, the numbers go down. Well, it's a very complicated system, trying to keep the system just right to manage those that are doing the wrong things and keeping them account, as opposed to introducing new measures that allow people to be liberated and get a second chance in life and make good of something that they probably did the wrong thing by. So, so very privileged to chair that. That was my first chairing of the select committee, and so we've finished that one up today. So we've been very, very busy. Coming up is the CDP green slip, and once again, without doubt, CDP will be protecting the interests of children. What they get covered for now, we will not be compromising. We want the children to be protected in the same way in the future. So we do have a bit of influence. We're not manipulating. We're not bending people over backwards to submit to our wishes, every wish. We're there with the balance of prayer and responsibility. We deliver that, and I think we work with the government very, very well. And to the government's credit, whether by hook or by crook, they work with us, and I think we really do make good legislation at the end of the day by working with the Liberal National Government. And so we look forward to that continuing relationship. Marie and David and member for Kiama, keep going to call him councillor, because he was my deputy mayor, Councillor Ward, who is now an MP. We do enjoy the relationship that we have with the government, and we do use our power, I think, very responsibly, and we'll continue to do that, because at the end of the day, if we can make New South Wales prosperous, if we can make it number one again, that means everyone who wants to be in a job can have a job, and it keeps the food paid, the food bills paid, the kids educated, food on the table, less friction in relationships, pays the mortgage, and I think that's a pretty good start to building strong marriages and strong families. So it is in our best interest to govern and govern well, and to make sure that we really leave our legacy or our stamp of prosperity on this state for the glory of Jesus, but also for the goodness of strong families. Thank you. So can I now welcome to give some brief remarks our lead Senate candidate, Pastor Robin Peebles.